Commencing countdown, engines on. 3, 2. Detach from station and may God's love be with you.
In his latest book, You Are Here, Around the World in 92 Minutes, there are more beautiful images of Earth, from the landmarks of the Sahara to the salt flats and sand dunes of the Arabian Peninsula. When he came in, I spoke to Chris Hadfield and began by asking him whether, after all his space travel, he sometimes has to look down and check where he is.
I get to know the world pretty well, actually. I've been around the world 2,650 times, so there's almost an intimacy with the entire planet that is a delightful perspective to have.
Have you been frightened going up, being there, coming back?
Kind of the whole purpose of being an astronaut is not get yourself in a position where you're frightened. Frightened means you weren't ready. And the only time I really felt sort of that animal feeling of fear was watching a completely random event of a shooting star burning up in the atmosphere between me and the Earth. Because at first, I mean, what's your reaction to a shooting star? You go, oh, look at that. But then to realize that that rock had gone past us on the way to the world, it made my ship seem much less robust. It made me feel more at the vagaries of random chance.
What I find fascinating about this book is that you're clearly lit up, and would be even again if you went again, every time you look out of the window.
I wish I could pull you to the window of a spaceship for one orbit, just to let you see what the world truly looks like, not someone else's interpretation.
You see, I'm a one-orbit man. One of my nightmares is that I'd be chosen as the first journalist to be sent up there and live there, and I'm not sure I have it. But one orbit I might take you on.
I think with your nose to the glass, you'd be a believer in the wonder of it and the magic of getting to know our planet with an unfettered filter. It's magnificent.
See, I look at this picture of Havana to Washington, a massive spread of Earth that you can see from one window. And then I wonder, as you look at the clouds, do you think about climate change?
Sure, I think about climate change all the time. You see the direct evidence of it, both man-made and natural. My first flight, some 20 years ago, was shortly after a big volcanic explosion, Mount Pinatubo, and you could see the thousands of tons of particulate in the upper stratosphere like a layer cake against the sun, and it cooled the Earth, so that you can see natural climate change. But if you go to look down on a place like the Aral Sea, you can see the absolute deliberate human modification of our planet that's caused significant regional climate change. So naturally, you think about the impact we're having on the whole planet.
And then I look at what looks to me like the most beautifully knitted sweater. A sort of real fashion item.
To me, it looks like icing.
But it is, in fact, Arabia. And I didn't know, a fifth of Arabia is this extraordinary
the enormous
sea of sand and rock.
That it's as if you took all of these raw artistic materials and you gave them to Mother Nature and said, give us every permutation you can think of. And some of them are boring, but some of them are so intricately beautiful to look at. And the wind and the dryness just shapes them constantly. And you get better and better at seeing them every time you come around the world.
But then when you look at them, sometimes you think oil and you think conflict, and there is beauty and ugliness in one photograph.
Yeah, like everywhere. When you come back, though, I think you have a permanent sense of optimism, having seen the whole world that way, because of the unavoidable better understanding of time, the patience of the world, the regenerative nature of the world, and the fact that it's withstood so much worse than us over time. We need to be more conscious of our impact on it. We need to do the right things, especially collectively. But at the same time, you just see the vastness and the patience and the implacability of the world itself.
And then inevitably, being Britocentric, I end in Lincolnshire, not really that far from where your family hailed originally before they all went off to Canada. And this extraordinary tapestry, which, as you say in the text, has taken generations and generations of farmers to create.
Yeah. and prehistoric, right? I mean, people were farming there before there was written language, and they laid out a lot of the lot lines, and they followed the natural contours and cleared one section at a time. It's an unconscious reflection of small, efficient human decisions over 10,000 years. And you can see it in a glance from the current big cities, but through to all of the small pastoral shapes. And it becomes this lovely historic mosaic of ourselves. And you see that everywhere. And the beauty is you're over Lincolnshire, but if you just wait 20 minutes, then you're over Africa. And 20 minutes later, you're over the outback of Australia. And the inevitability of the fact that we're all in this together just slaps you in the face, that we're all breathing out of the same bubble of air. And the shared nature of being human is very much the idea behind the book.
Chris Hadfield, thank you very much for talking with us.
Lovely to talk to you also. Thank you.